Hi everybody, United Group Services, Kevin Sell here along with Gary Cadell for today's YouTube video on quality and specifically conservation vent valve. Now in the past we've actually had a particular incident where we had to install a conservation vent valve or a weighted vent valve, and the vacuum and the pressure sides were not weighted appropriately. They were switched, where we had a collapse of the actual vessel. So when we go to install a valve of this type, we have to make sure that a couple things are installed correctly and that we're following the manufacturer's specifications. In the specific instance of the incident that we had, there was a dramatic temperature change overnight where the temperature dropped and the vessel looked like a crushed beer can. So as you can imagine, there are ramifications of not installing these correctly. And this video is to give you a short lesson on what to look for and how to make sure that when you put one of these in, it's done the right way so that it's safe and it's working properly. So Gary, we were talking earlier, the importance with these are a couple of things. Pressure goes pressure, vacuum goes vacuum, and they're listed as such, right?
That's correct.
And that these may also be different weights.
Yep.
And you know, we were talking earlier with this particular valve, which is smaller than probably what you all are used to seeing in the field, but it's great for instructional purposes. But also, you had mentioned the precaution too about sometimes they come taped, and lo and behold, what did we find here?
There was tape on and cardboard.
So tape and cardboard, and those have to come out. So what Gary's going to do is that we're going to take a little break, and he's going to be pulling the bonnet off and this valve apart and walking through where these particular weights and parts go. And at the same time, you're going to notice that we are using the manufacturer's specifications and instructions. It's very important to follow that. And if you don't know, you ask either the customer's engineering rep that's on site, or you call in here and you ask us. So let's take a break and we'll be right back.
So what we have is a conservation vent valve right out of the box. First thing you're going to see is the certified report, and it tells the pressure and vacuum settings. These are spec'd out from the engineering company that we'll be working for. If you turn that page, you'll see the must-read, and that's extremely important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart, let you see the insides of it, see some of the things I've seen in the past.
So nothing complicated here, right, Gary? Wing nuts, you take them off, the bonnet lifts off, same way on the pressure side.
They call this in the instructions the weather hood. That comes off. What you got here is the seal. Now I'm not going to take that off because we're going to reuse this for training purposes. This is what I was talking to Kevin about. This has to come off. This is typically on every single one of them you're going to find. What this does is protect the seal behind it, and you'll notice on this it's written right on there the model number of the unit, whether it's the pressure or the vacuum side. This is the pressure side on this side, and the set pressure that it's at. Okay, so there's a seal behind here that I won't take that off for. On some of the larger ones or some of the higher pressure set ones, there will be a weight that slides right on top of this. Okay, the other side's the vacuum side, and it's all designated in here that tells you which side's which and how it works.
And sometimes when we're doing, so after installation and we're doing commissioning, it's possible, you and I were talking about this, engineering could come back and stamp a directive to where maybe they need to add a weight to one side or the other.
Absolutely, okay. Absolutely. And they could change at any time, the pressure on the vacuum or the pressure on the valve. This one is also stamped vacuum, so it tells you where to go. It's got the ounces of bar that it's set at, and it's got the serial number of the unit on it.
So look, we want to thank Gary for coming in and giving this tutorial on the ventilation weights, actually the conservation vent valve. And want to thank Ben Woolwine, the guy behind the camera that's doing all the videography and editing. But before we end, you know, we have the documents and we showed you the importance of that. But Gary, when this is all said and done, this certified report, what has to be done with that?
Good question, Kevin. This certified report will become part of the record of the job. It'll be a turnover document that gets turned over to the client when the job's finished to show exactly what we installed and what it was set at, and that it met the specs that they actually came out with on the job.
Perfect. And like anything else, it was something, a discussion we had early this morning. If you don't know, stop, ask, and confirm. We're here to help you. So if it has to do with the conservation vent valve, call the quality department, call Gary Cadell, call me. Thank you all, and we'll see you on the next video.